Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we are not here for some shallow, surface-level motivation. We are not here to feed you sugar-coated words or temporary hype that fades by tomorrow morning. We are going straight to the core, because if you feel stuck, constantly drained, or overwhelmed, if you find yourself doubting every move or repeating the same old mistakes, there is one uncomfortable truth you need to face. It is not your situation that is broken. It is not your environment, your lack of luck, or your resources. The root of the problem is your mindset. It is the engine that drives your entire life. The quality of your existence is not determined by how hard life hits you. It is determined by how strong your mental foundation is when the storm arrives. Most people are walking around with a mindset they never even built themselves. It has been programmed by fear, by society, by past failures, and by the criticism of others. They have been taught to play small and stay comfortable, and then they wonder why they feel empty. Listen closely, because this is the most important thing you will hear today. Your mindset is the operating system of your life. And right now, most people are running an outdated, glitchy, virus-filled system that is dragging them down. If you do not take control, your past, your anxieties, and your fears will control it for you. This is not just a video. This is a call to war against the weakness inside you. Your mindset is the most powerful weapon you will ever own. Today, I am going to show you how to sharpen it, command it, and use it to build a version of yourself that the old you would not even recognize. This is also a perfect opportunity to sharpen your English, as you will be picking up new vocabulary and building confidence just by following along. So, get ready. Let us dive into the first lesson. Lesson 1. Your mind is your most powerful weapon. The world is obsessed with teaching us how to chase things. We are told to go after the degrees, the high-paying jobs, the status symbols, and the validation of others. But almost no one teaches us how to build the one thing that actually generates all of that success: your mindset. Think of your mind as the command center of your life. When your mindset is powerful, you can walk into any room and command respect without saying a word. You can stare failure in the face and refuse to break. You can stay calm and centered, even when everything around you is falling into chaos. But when your mindset is weak, even the smallest obstacle feels like a mountain. The slightest voice of doubt will paralyze you, and a minor rejection will shatter your confidence. So, I have to ask you something honest. Have you ever actually taken the time to train your mind? I am not talking about your body at the gym or your technical skills on a resume. I am talking about your raw mental strength. Your mindset dictates how you react to problems, how you speak to yourself in the dark, and how you handle pressure. It determines how you bounce back after a loss and how much you actually grow. Let me be brutally honest with you. A person with a powerful mindset can win, even when they have fewer resources, fewer connections, and fewer advantages. But a person with a weak mindset will lose, even when they have every advantage in the world. Why? Because your mindset is the filter through which you experience reality. If your internal filter is full of fear, every new opportunity will look like a dangerous threat. If your filter is full of self-doubt, every genuine compliment will feel like a lie. If your mindset is full of limitations, you will see solid walls where doors actually exist. This is why mastering your mindset is not optional. It is not a bonus. It is not just a pretty quote for your Instagram feed. Your mindset is the weapon that either defends your future or destroys it. If you do not learn to wield it, life will use it against you. This world is not going to go easy on you. So your mind better not go soft on you either. Start taking full responsibility for your thoughts. Treat them like your most valuable weapons. and realize that mental toughness is not for the lucky ones. It is for the ones who are ready. Lesson 2. Take the time to train your brain. Let us be real for a second. When was the last time you actually sat down and put in the work to train your mindset? I do not mean just clicking on a video, hitting the like button, or scrolling past an inspirational quote on your feed. I am talking about deliberate, intentional training of your own thinking. Most people never do this. They are obsessed with training their bodies at the gym, obsessing over their career ladders, or spending hours on their skincare and clothes. But their mind? They leave it completely untrained. They let it become fragile, reactive, and cluttered with noise. Is it any wonder why they fall apart the moment life gets a little uncomfortable? You need to understand something vital. Your mind is not a self-repairing machine. It becomes exactly what you feed it. It believes the stories you tell it, and it mirrors the habits you practice every single day. If you are not training your mind, you are letting it get weaker every single hour. It gets filled with other people's opinions, toxic self-talk, constant comparison, and the fear of a future that has not even happened yet. You start feeling stuck, but the truth is, you are not trapped by your life. You are trapped by a mindset that you have never bothered to grow. Training your brain does not require you to drop everything and spend 10 hours a day on it. It requires intention. It requires silence. It requires daily practice. Start by finding 10 minutes every single morning to sit in silence and just observe your thoughts without judging them. Write down the 5 limiting beliefs that are keeping you small and actively replace them with something stronger. Start talking to yourself the way you would talk to someone you deeply love. Stop reacting to every little thing that goes wrong. Train yourself to hit the pause button. Think of your mind like a garden. If you left a garden alone, it would be overrun by weeds, right? If you would not let weeds grow in your yard, why are you letting fear and negativity grow freely in your brain? Your mind is your operating system. If you do not update it, upgrade it, and enforce some discipline, it will eventually crash. You have to train it every single day because the world is going to try to break it every single hour. The more you put in the work, the more you will realize that you were never as weak, confused, or lost as you thought. You were just untrained. It is time to change that. Lesson 3. Recognize the voice that is ruining your life. Before you can truly rewire your brain, you need to understand the hidden force that is currently steering the ship. Everyone has a mind, but very few people actually understand how theirs works. Deep inside, there are 2 distinct voices competing for your attention. One is the voice that pushes you to grow, to take risks, and to step into your potential. The other is the voice that pulls you backward, whispering doubts and keeping you small. Most people spend their entire lives listening to the wrong one. That negative inner critic did not just show up one day. It was built, brick by brick, over years of experiences. Maybe it was a teacher who made you feel foolish in front of the class, a parent who constantly compared you to someone else, a moment of failure that you never let go of, or a society that keeps telling you you are just not enough. All these moments fused together to create an internal voice that now speaks as if it were your own. When you catch yourself saying things like, "I am not good enough, what if I fail?" or "nobody will support me," you think those are your original thoughts, but they are not. They are echoes of the past planted deep within you, and you have repeated them so often that they have become your default programming. This is the voice that makes you procrastinate, overthink, and stay in situations that are clearly holding you back. If you want a powerful mindset, you have to learn to detach yourself from that voice. You must realize that just because a thought pops into your head, it does not mean it is the truth. Just because your mind says something is impossible, it does not mean you have to obey. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who never have negative thoughts. They are the ones who have mastered the art of recognizing when that enemy voice is trying to take the wheel. Here is how you start breaking that cycle. The moment that negative thought appears, get conscious. Stop. Observe. When your mind says you cannot do something, do not act on it. Instead, question it. Ask yourself, who is speaking right now? Is this fear talking? Is this an old, outdated memory? Is this just insecurity masquerading as logic? Challenge the voice. Most people treat their thoughts like commands, but you need to start treating them like suggestions that you can reject. If that voice says you are not enough, you respond by saying, I am learning, growing, and getting stronger every single day. If it says you are going to fail, you answer back, failure is just the feedback I need to succeed. Your internal dialogue must become louder and more authoritative than your fear. It is not a one-time fix. You have to do this every day. Until you recognize that voice for what it is, an imposter, it will keep running your life. Expose it, challenge it, and replace it. That is how you build a mindset that can survive anything. Lesson 4. Reprogram your thoughts like a warrior. Once you have unmasked that inner critic, your next move is not to fight it in a never-ending war of attrition. Instead, you need to completely overwrite the source code of your mind. Think of your brain as a high-performance computer. If the software is buggy and full of corrupted files, yelling at the screen will not fix it. You have to change the code. Most people try to upgrade their life while keeping their old, broken mental software running in the background. That is why they experience a quick burst of motivation, followed by a hard crash. They change their actions, but their underlying beliefs remain the same, so they inevitably get pulled back into their old, comfortable patterns. To reprogram your mind like a warrior, you must accept one cold, hard fact. Your brain believes whatever you feed it consistently. It becomes what you practice. If you repeat fear daily, your mind becomes a factory for anxiety. If you repeat self-doubt, you become an expert in failure. But if you program yourself for discipline and strength, those traits will eventually become your natural state. Here is how a warrior rewires their mental system. First, they stop the junk intake. A warrior does not spend hours doom-scrolling, consuming gossip, or wallowing in self-pity. They know that whatever you feed your mind becomes your identity. If you feed it garbage, it will output garbage thoughts. They curate their internal language to be intentional. Your self-talk is not just a bunch of random words. It is a direct command to your nervous system. A warrior does not say, I hope I can do it, or maybe one day. They say, I will, I must, and I am finding a way. This is not empty hype. It is rigorous self-programming. Second, they use visualization as a tactical rehearsal. Most people only visualize the worst-case scenario, rehearsing their own failure before they even take a step. A warrior does the exact opposite. They visualize themselves overcoming obstacles before they even appear. This trains the brain to expect victory. When a limiting belief surfaces, they do not run, they dismantle it. They ask, what is the hard evidence for this thought? They expose their fears to the light of truth until the fear loses its power. Third, they build identity around strength. You cannot build a powerful life with a weak identity. The strongest people do not think, I will try to be disciplined. They think, I am disciplined. They create daily mental rituals, meditation, journaling, or focused reflection to keep the system updated. Reprogramming is not a one-time project. It is a daily discipline. If you do not update your mental software, it will revert to the default settings of your past. Stop letting life shape your mindset. Start shaping your mindset to dictate the trajectory of your life. Every day is a chance to rewrite the code. Start today. Lesson 5. Control your emotions before they control you. Here is a hard truth most people never grasp. Your emotions are not the absolute truth. They are just reactions, signals firing in your brain. If your mindset is not rock solid, your emotions will hijack the driver's seat of your life. You will end up making impulsive decisions, pushing away the people who actually matter, and folding the moment things get slightly uncomfortable. You will stay trapped in cycles of regret, anxiety, or sadness for weeks, sometimes even years. You have to realize that emotions are not meant to lead the way. They are meant to be messengers, and once you get the message, you need to manage them. But what do most people do? They let their feelings dictate their reality. They let one bad morning turn into a ruined month. They let one rejection destroy their self-worth. They let a flash of anxiety stop them from chasing an opportunity that could have changed everything. Having a strong mindset does not mean you are a robot who feels nothing. It means you have the ability to handle what you feel without letting it turn you into someone you are not. Think of yourself as the general of an army. A general receives constant reports of chaos, threats, and pressure on the front lines, but he does not panic. He listens, he observes, he plans, and then he executes. That is the level of leadership you need to apply to your own inner world. If you do not lead your emotions, they will lead you, and they will almost always lead you toward unnecessary suffering. This is exactly why so many people sabotage their own progress. They start a new goal, but the second they feel a bit of doubt, they quit. They find a great connection, but the moment they feel fear, they push love away. Their emotions are in charge, and their mindset is sound asleep. So, what does this look like in the real world? It means when you feel overwhelmed, you pause before you react. When you feel hurt, you take a breath before you speak. When you feel fear, you acknowledge it, but refuse to take it as a fact. Your emotions are real, but they are not always right. If you cannot master your internal world, you will never master your external circumstances. You will keep overreacting, blaming others, and breaking things that did not need to be broken. A powerful mindset is not cold. It is clear. It feels everything, but it chooses what to follow. Train your mind to lead your feelings, not the other way around. Because if you can master your emotions, you have already mastered your future. Lesson 6. Kill the victim mentality inside you. There is a silent killer of potential that operates in the shadows. It does not scream, it whispers. It sounds like this. Why does this always happen to me? I cannot succeed because of my past. It is not my fault. Someone else should have helped me. I am just unlucky. This is the victim mindset, and if you do not destroy it, you will remain stuck exactly where you are. A victim mindset does 3 things. It blames circumstances instead of taking ownership. It waits for a savior instead of building self-leadership. And it protects the ego instead of facing hard truths. When you live with this mentality, you are slowly handing over the keys to your life to the world. You allow your past to dictate your future. You allow other people's mistakes to become your identity. You turn your pain into your personality, and that is how people stay trapped for years. It is not because they lack capability, but because they lack the willingness to take full accountability for their own existence. Listen, you did not choose what happened to you. You did not choose your family history, your early trauma, or the environment you were born into. But you must choose your mindset today. You have to stop waiting for someone to come and fix you. You have to stop rehearsing the same tired story of your suffering. You have to stop blaming people who are not even in your life anymore. A powerful mindset does not deny your past. It just refuses to be a prisoner of it. It says, yes, I was hurt, but I am healing. Yes, I struggled, but I am learning. Yes, I have been through hell, but I refuse to build a home there. Consider the story of a man like Marcus, who spent years in a situation where he had every reason to be bitter and resentful. He could have played the victim, but he chose to lead. He chose peace. Why? Because his mindset was not built by his circumstances. It was built by his decision to rise above them. This is what a strong mindset looks like. It separates your pain from your identity. So ask yourself today, what stories am I still telling that keep me small? Who am I blaming that I need to stop blaming? What excuses am I protecting that are actually sabotaging my growth? The world does not owe you a rescue. Nobody is coming to save you. Your future is waiting for you to take total ownership. You can live as a victim of your history, or you can live as a warrior of your future. You cannot be both. This is the shift that separates those who repeat their problems and those who reinvent their lives. Lesson 7. Change your words, change your world. There is something you do every single day that is quietly shaping your entire reality. It is not your daily habits, your career path, or your bank balance. It is your language. The words you use are not just harmless sounds. They are direct commands to your brain. They are the blueprint for your identity and the architecture of your belief system. Think about it. When you constantly tell yourself, I am so busy, I am always messing things up, or this is just who I am, your brain takes those statements as absolute truth. It internalizes them. It memorizes them. And then it starts acting them out. Without you even realizing it, your body feels more tired, your stress levels spike, and your ambition begins to shrink. Why? Because your words are literally writing the software that your brain is running. This is not some spiritual fluff. It is basic psychology. Your brain is constantly listening to the words you repeat most often. It builds neural pathways based on what you say, not just what you want. If your language is consistently negative, reactive, or full of excuses, your mindset will follow suit. You simply cannot build a focused, high-performance mindset while speaking the language of chaos and complaint. The problem is that most people speak words that reflect their current mood, rather than words that build their future identity. Let us look at how this plays out in real life. Someone who says, I am just not a confident person, is literally giving their brain permission to stay small. Saying, I am terrible with money is a self-imposed lock on your financial growth. Saying, I am too old for this is surrendering your potential to a number. This is how you imprison yourself with your own tongue. But here is the shift. A powerful mindset begins with precise, intentional language. A warrior speaks like a leader, even when they do not feel like one yet. They do not lie to themselves. They guide themselves. Instead of saying, I am stuck, they say, I am learning and finding a better way. Instead of saying, I cannot do this, they say, I am currently figuring out how to make this work. These words do not pretend. They provide direction. They teach your mind to scan for possibilities instead of dwelling on pain. Your words also affect how the world treats you. If you talk like a victim, people will treat you like you are fragile. If you speak like a leader, people will start to expect strength from you. So I want you to audit your language today. What words are you repeating without even noticing? Are they the echoes of your past, or are they the seeds of who you are becoming? Language is the doorway to your mindset. Change the way you speak about your life, and you will begin to change the life itself. Until your voice matches your vision, you will always be your own biggest obstacle. Lesson 8. Train your mind like a soldier every morning. Let's be brutally honest. Most people lose the battle of the day before they even get out of bed. The first few minutes of your morning set the rhythm for everything that follows. If you're not waking up with intention, you are essentially training your brain to be scattered, reactive, and weak by default. A high-performance mindset doesn't just happen by accident. It is built in the quiet, disciplined moments of the morning. Think about how a soldier operates. They don't wake up and immediately start scrolling through their phone, letting the chaos of the world flood their head. They have a routine. They make their bed, they move their body, they prepare their gear with precision. Why? Because it is not just about the tasks themselves. It is about sending a signal to the brain that says, I am in charge here. Now look at the average person. They wake up, grab their phone, and immediately dive into notifications, news, and other people's drama. They enter the day in reaction mode, mentally fragile and emotionally frayed. Then they wonder why they feel anxious, distracted, or unable to focus. It is because they gave away their mental energy before the day even truly started. To train your mind like a soldier, you must reclaim your first hour. When you wake up, do not reach for the screen. Sit with yourself for 5 minutes. Ask yourself, what is my focus today? What energy am I bringing to my work? What traps do I need to avoid? You need to feed your mind with clarity before you let the world feed it with noise. Whether it is journaling, visualizing your goals, or reading something that challenges you, you are cleaning your mental weapon. You should also integrate physical movement. Mental strength is deeply connected to your physical state. Even 10 minutes of stretching or a quick walk wakes up your system and builds momentum. The goal here isn't to be perfect. The goal is to establish control. If you start your day from a place of power, it becomes incredibly difficult for the world to knock you off balance. This isn't just fluffy motivation, it is tactical direction. It tells your brain exactly who you are and how you operate. Do this every single day, and over time, you will notice your decisions getting sharper, your emotions getting calmer, and your focus becoming unshakable. Stop being a follower of your circumstances and start being the commander of your own morning. Train like a soldier today so you can win the life you are building tomorrow. Lesson 9. Starve distractions, feed discipline. Let us get real about why you are not where you want to be. Your life is not being derailed by one massive, tragic failure. It is being slowly eroded by 1,000 tiny, meaningless distractions that you let into your day. You do not lose your dreams in a single moment of catastrophe. You lose them one scroll at a time, one pointless notification at a time, and one mental detour at a time. You tell yourself these distractions are harmless, but they are actually mental parasites. They are invisible enemies that quietly drain your focus, steal your clarity, and kill your momentum. Every time you check your phone for no reason, every time you jump between tasks without finishing anything, or every time you choose instant gratification over long-term growth, you are feeding the distraction and starving your discipline. You need to understand that discipline and distraction cannot coexist. They are like fire and water. One will inevitably destroy the other. If you keep feeding the noise, your discipline will wither away. If you feed the discipline, the distractions will eventually starve to death. Most people claim they lack motivation, but that is rarely the case. What they actually lack is the ability to guard their attention. Your attention is your most valuable asset, and whatever you focus on, you grow. If you focus on fear, your anxiety grows. If you focus on negativity, your bitterness grows. But if you focus on progress, you start seeing real results. The problem is that most people are letting their attention be pulled in 1,000 directions, making it impossible to build a mindset that achieves anything of substance. You cannot build a sharp, focused mind while living a distracted lifestyle. You cannot scroll through mindless chaos and expect to have mental clarity. You cannot multitask your way to success and expect to find peace. It is impossible. Distraction is the silent enemy of your mental strength, and it feels so innocent because it whispers, just 2 minutes, just one quick check, just a little break. But those minutes turn into hours, then days, then years, and you are still standing in the same spot with the same excuses. Here is the good news. Focus is a muscle, and the more you use it, the stronger it gets. Start treating your attention like your life depends on it, because it does. The most successful people I know are ruthless about their mental boundaries. They do not let just anything into their heads. They filter what they consume. They are selective about who they listen to, and they create intentional blocks of time where the phone is off and the work is on. This is mental weightlifting. They say no more than they say yes, because every time they say yes to a distraction, they are saying no to their future. Discipline is not just about doing the work. It is about having the courage to refuse the noise. Understand that boredom is often the birthplace of mastery. If you run from every moment of stillness, you will never build the depth required for greatness. You want to forge a weapon of a mindset? Then stop feeding the distractions. Every single time you choose focus over noise, you are training your mind to be sharper, harder, and more reliable. Control your attention, and you control your outcomes. Master your distractions, and you master your destiny. Lesson 10. Choose belief over fear. Every single moment of your day, you are making a silent, high-stakes decision. It happens hundreds of times without you even noticing. The decision is simple but profound. Are you going to act from a place of belief or from a place of fear? This choice is the invisible architect of your entire life. It dictates how you walk into a room, how you handle a crisis, how you build your relationships, and how you approach your biggest ambitions. Most people are operating on a foundation of fear, even if they dress it up as being realistic, careful, or logical. They think they are just playing it safe, but what they are actually doing is letting fear run the show. When you want to start a new project, fear whispers, "What if you fail?" When you want to speak your mind, fear warns, "What if they judge you?" When you want to dream bigger, fear says, "Don't be ridiculous, stay in your lane." Fear is the ultimate trickster. It sounds like it is protecting you, but all it is doing is keeping you in a cage of your own making. Here is the difference. Fear is always looking in the rearview mirror. It remembers every time you stumbled, every time you were rejected, and every time things went south. It takes that old pain and projects it onto your future. Belief, on the other hand, is the discipline of choosing what could go right, even when your past gives you every reason to expect the worst. Belief is not about having a guarantee or a crystal ball. It is about saying, "I do not have all the answers yet, but I have the resilience to find them." Take the example of innovators who changed the world. When they first started, everyone told them they were crazy. They did not have the blueprints, the funding, or the experience. But they chose belief over the safety of the status quo. They asked, "What if this actually works?" That simple shift in perspective is what separates the dreamers from the achievers. If you wait for the fear to vanish before you move, you will be waiting for the rest of your life. Fear never goes away. You just stop giving it the steering wheel. The greatest leaders are not fearless. They are just masters at using fear as fuel rather than letting it be the driver. You want a powerful mindset? Then make this your golden rule. Choose belief every single time. You do not have to believe that the road will be easy. You just have to believe that growth is possible. You have to believe that your effort creates change, that action builds confidence, and that your past does not have to be your future unless you repeat it. Fear is an automatic reaction, but belief is a deliberate choice. Every time you feel stuck, stop and ask yourself, am I making this decision based on what I fear or based on what I believe is possible? Your answer to that question will determine the path your life takes. Lesson 11. Make pain your personal trainer. Let us be clear. Nobody gets a free pass when it comes to pain. Whether you are wealthy, talented, or kind-hearted, suffering is just part of the human experience. The real question is not whether you will face pain, but what you will do with it. Will you let it break you, or will you use it to build you? Most people spend their entire lives running from discomfort. They numb it with endless entertainment. They bury it under layers of denial, or they use it as an excuse to give up. But that is the quickest way to stay weak. The strongest minds do not run from pain. They study it, they train with it, and they weaponize it. Think about the gym. When you lift heavy, you are literally tearing muscle fibers. It is uncomfortable, it burns, and it breaks down tissue. But it is exactly that process of breaking down that allows you to grow back stronger. Mental pain works the same way. When you go through a heartbreak, a financial loss, or a moment of crushing rejection, you are at a crossroads. You can let that pain define you, turning you bitter and cynical. Or you can let it train you. You can let it strip away your ego and reveal the raw, untapped strength you did not know you had. There is simply no progress without some level of discomfort. You cannot grow your character without pressure, and you cannot sharpen your mindset without going through the fire. You need to start viewing pain as your own personal trainer. What does a trainer do? They push you past the point where you want to quit. They hold you accountable when you get lazy. They do not hate you. They prepare you for a higher level of performance. Pain is trying to do the exact same thing for you, but you have to meet it with presence, not panic. Stop begging for the pain to go away and start asking, what is this here to teach you? If you keep avoiding the discomfort, you are also avoiding the wisdom that comes with it. Look at the legends who changed history. They did not achieve greatness because life was easy. They achieved it because they learned how to use their failures as feedback. When they hit a wall, they did not see it as a sign to stop. They saw it as a lesson in what did not work. That is not just optimism. That is high-level mental conditioning. The most powerful people do not see pain as the enemy. They see it as the process. So the next time you feel that emotional or mental weight, do not ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this training me for? Pain builds endurance. It reveals your character in the dark. It humbles you and sharpens your purpose. Without pain, your story has no weight and your success has no depth. Pain is not what stops you. It is the forge that shapes you. Stop running. Start learning and let that fire turn you into something unbreakable. Lesson 12. Don't think like a loser. Act like a winner. Let us be brutally honest about one thing. Overthinking is not your friend. While it is true that you need to reflect and plan, there is a point where thinking becomes a trap. It keeps you stuck in a cycle of analyzing, doubting, and delaying. This is what I call loser thinking. It is not about your bank account or your job title. It is about how you approach the game of life. A loser mindset doesn't necessarily mean you have failed yet. It means you are thinking in a way that makes failure inevitable. It sounds like this. It probably won't work, so why even try? what if people judge me? I will wait until I am perfectly ready. Someone else is already better at this than me. This is just too difficult. Maybe it is not for me. Do you see the pattern? There is zero movement. There is no leadership, just a loop of thoughts spinning in circles while you stay exactly where you started. Here's the difference between a weak mindset and a powerful one. The weak mind overthinks, but the winner overacts. A winner's mindset does not try to think its way into confidence. It takes action first, and confidence is the result of that movement. Winners feel fear, they feel doubt, and they often feel completely unprepared. But they do not sit around waiting for the perfect feeling to arrive. They jump into the deep end because they know that action is the only thing that creates clarity. Imagine two people standing at the edge of a freezing pool. The first person stands there shivering, thinking, what if the water is too cold? What if I cannot handle it? What if I look foolish? The second person just runs and jumps in. The moment that second person is in the air, they have already won the battle. The first person is still trapped in their own head, while the winner is already playing the game. If you want to stop thinking like a loser, you have to act like a winner before you feel ready. The truth is, you will never feel 100% ready. If you wait for total clarity, you will be left behind by the people who moved with courage instead of certainty. This is not about rushing. It is about refusing to be paralyzed by your own brain. You do not build a resilient mindset by thinking about changing. You build it by doing the hard things, especially when you are uncomfortable. Train your brain to stop asking, what if I fail? And start asking, what happens if I never try? A loser needs a massive dose of motivation to get moving, but a winner finds their motivation through the act of moving itself. Stop rehearsing your fears and start rehearsing your effort. Even if you do not believe in yourself right now, start acting like someone who does. Your mind will eventually catch up to your actions. Stop the cycle, step out of your head, and get into the game. If you have made it this far, let me be real with you for a moment, person to person. The world is incredibly loud. It is constantly pulling at your attention, trying to convince you to stay small, stay distracted, and stay soft. It makes you second-guess your worth, feeds you fear, and then sells you comfort as a cure. But here is the secret the world does not want you to know. You are not here to just survive. You are here to evolve. You are here to grow into a version of yourself that your past self would not even recognize. You are here to master your mind, because your mind is the steering wheel of your life. That is why your mindset is your greatest weapon. It is not because it makes life easy. It is because it gives you the ironclad strength to keep going when life gets tough. The people you look up to, the ones you admire, they are not perfect. They are not fearless, and they certainly are not just lucky. They are simply the people who decided to take control of their inner world while everyone else was busy blaming the outer world. Now it is your turn. Whether you are currently healing, building, fighting, or starting all over again, remember this. Your mind is your home, your kingdom, and your most powerful tool. Protect it, sharpen it, train it, and never let anyone convince you to put it down. Once your mindset becomes unbreakable, so do you. So here is your call to action. I want you to drop a comment below right now. Tell me one specific habit or one limiting belief that you are going to change starting today. Make it public, make it real, and commit to your own growth. You have the weapon. Now it is time to use it. Go out there and build the life that you once thought was impossible. You have got this.